And welcome to another video with me, Eagle Eye. Will be not a gaming video today. I'm afraid that might not make much sense, but oh well. No, we're not doing a gaming video today. Instead, I'm doing another one of these like very rare unboxing and review videos. Now, I do hope the camera looks good. I did the best I could to get the best quality out of it, but this is kind of the worst program I have for recording, but it is the best one for doing these types of videos because it allows me to alter the recording a little bit more easily. But I just hope it's good enough quality to allow you to see this. Now, I received this just today, and here it is. Assassin's Creed Gantlet for is it Jacob? I've forgotten his name already. Sorry about that. But basically, out of the two of the whatever their name is, twins, I've forgotten that as well. I think the only one I can remember is Emily. No guessing why I remembered her name. But yeah, out of the other boxes, this is massive. Just to give you a comparison, this is how big this box is, and this is the one from the Phantom Blade from Assassin's Creed Unity. Yeah. And the width, that I would say even this may be a little bit wider. It's just massive. So, I have already opened this once, but it didn't actually have that much really holding it together. Unlike the other ones from beforehand, it's got no little metal ties or anything else. It doesn't even have plastic sellotape holding the box together. It's surprisingly low packaging, apart from the size of the bloody box. And also, the inside is kind of like this. It's like a sandwich. Two bits of plastic sandwiched together. Very cheap. And holds all the pieces, which are just two. Although, according to the instructions, the dart head shouldn't have been connected, but on my one it is. So, and just to hold it, they put this piece of cardboard in as well. But anyway, so pretty much, this is pretty simple. It's like a popper. It's got the old poppers, and there goes my instructions. Sorry. Things here, but I'll even tell you, it comes like this. Now, I am going to say one thing. This is pretty high quality. Pretty bloody high quality indeed. Now, I will get on to stuff I don't like about this, because actually I'm not too keen on the way they've done this. But here's the instructional list, and just so, well, here's the thing. It comes in a gauntlet, 2 pieces, a gauntlet glove and blade housing, sorry. To assemble, dart head. Insert dart head into mounting dart assembly located on blade holster. But on my one, as you see, it's already on there. So I have no idea why that's in the instructions. It doesn't even have a little cutout for the blade head. There that goes. Oh well. I'm hoping these things can stand to a little bit of punishment. They are sort of meant as like old boy toys. So on. Adjust straps to fit. Now this is where I have a very big problem, as I will show you in a minute. Now I usually don't try and show you trying to put this thing on, but I have already put this thing on, and believe me, it'll take about 3 seconds. Maybe not 3 seconds. I'm being a bit optimistic, but here we go. Done. And that is on the highest setting I can get it, and it's really... I don't know who they modelled this for. obese people or actual bodybuilders, because my wrist is really small. I'm even putting my hoodie on to give you a little extra. Well, pretty much the point was, I've got some cloth between me and the gauntlet on this thing. You see? And even that allows it to slip quite a lot. So much so, I'll even show you this, watch. All I have to do is just put my thumb and hand together and it slips down. Which brings me to this sort of thing. This little thing here, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like this, but I haven't got the game to prove it. So to stop this, I'd actually put it over all 4 of your fingers like this. It does stop it sliding a little bit. But just a bit. But you may be saying, well, I should have done these straps up. Well, I'll show you why. Because unlike all the other ones, this hidden blade has no straps of its own, so you have to wear the gauntlet in order to have it on properly. All the other Assassin's Creed blades, even the Phantom blades, you could strap onto your arm on their own a bit. But in the case of the Assassin's Creed Unity one, the Phantom blade, you just required to continue a bit of Velcro, so just buy some Velcro straps to finish it off. But this one, you have to actually tie it onto the gauntlet. I will not make you sit through this one, so I'll see you in a... Okay, now here we are. So, I've got it mounted onto my wrist. Now I'm having to do this because it's hard to turn. Now, what you do is, you have these 4 straps which are connected to these little loops here. Now, to help you do this, because it's quite fiddly to get around the dart, you can pull the... I hope I can show you this. You see that the dart should have been about here. Well, when it says connect the head dart, well, here you are. You can remove that, and it simply fits back on. Now, you'll want to have the little wheel pointing towards the outside, so away from the blade. And you simply just push it back on like that. Now that will help you a lot when it comes to getting this strap in, because it's quite fiddly to get it underneath the dart and get everything over. Also, you might find that this happens, so you just have to grab hold of it and try and push that back over. Now, there we are. Now here comes the problem which I wanted to talk about, the straps. Now, I've got this on like this. This is done up as high as I could get it. I hope you can see this, otherwise I'm going to have to brighten the video a bit, which will take the quality away. But pretty much, I've got this strap underneath the blade, done up as tight as possible, and all of these straps done to the very ends, as far as I can do them. As you could tell, when I tugged on one side, this strap actually came... Sorry, no. When I tugged on this side, this strap here actually was pulled out. It's being held by only the tiniest amount of the Velcro left, because I've had to pull them so tight. And even though they're at their full tightness, it's still really loose. It's not very tight at all. I could probably manage like this if I kept my hand always open, or had my thumb kind of at a position where I'd be holding the gauntlet in place slightly. But I would have liked them to have at least thought about some people having a slightly thinner wrist for this. For instance, I think the only people who can do this are people who've got a lot of fat on their arm, or actually have a lot of muscle. And also, I'll get a slight bit onto the styling of this thing as well, because the whole thing's made out of one piece of plastic, despite the colour changes. And it looks bloody awesome. I'll say it looks great. The only issue is I wish they'd changed the type of plastic used, and going to put this around. I just wish they'd used the type of plastic here which was a little harder, because this pistol is shooting directly into my wrist at the moment, and you can't really get it up. They've used quite hard plastic for this, but I just wish this armoured bit here was made out of the same plastic. And then sort of just slide in, you know, just to give this less of a look that it's actually being pushed down into my wrist. Also, it's kind of a similar plastic as they've been doing to all the gauntlets except the very first gauntlet, which was Ezio's in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. That seemed to be made out of a slightly stiffer plastic. But it's this sort of very flexible, very mouldable plastic, and I would say it is comfortable. You could wear this on bare skin, but I would definitely suggest having a bit of padding in your arm just to make sure this doesn't slip. And also, the case of this, it does stay in relatively good position. It's just when you put your arm down, it does slip a tiny bit. And if your arms are thinner than mine, which they probably could be, this is going to slip quite far down. So you might want to think about putting a bit of extra padding behind this, just to hold it onto your arm a bit better. Also, it might even help your skin breathe a little bit better. If this is right up against your skin, it's not going to let it breathe and you're going to get all sweaty. As I know from putting the Assassin's Creed 4 one on my arm on its own, that wasn't a good idea. Right, okay, so I have also decided to compare the blades here. Now, the blade on this one is hardened plastic. It's a bit flexy, a little bit, but it's not the rubber you would have found on Assassin's Creed 4's hidden blade or Assassin's Creed Unity's. Although on Unity's it was, I think, might have had a bit of plastic running through it to keep it a little bit more rigid, but who knows? Probably the person who made it, but I'm not one of them. So, in this one, it is back to the good old hardened plastic. It does rattle a bit, but oh well. But I am actually questioning a little bit. On my hand, it's mounted about here. Now that is actually shorter than my fingertips. Now, I don't know in the actual game if the hidden blade is shorter than the two main characters' names. I should have looked those up while I was in between clips. Sorry about that, I didn't think about it. But I'm going to actually compare this to all the other hidden blades I've got. We are going to actually see which one of these is actually longer. So, all of these have been lined up from where the blade starts, and hopefully you'll get to see all of these properly. So, here we are. Now, hopefully from this angle it will not look different, but I'm going to put my arm next to it. And I'll take this off. This is where the first hidden blade is. So I'll just tilt it so you can see. I'm trying to keep my arm as straight as possible, but here we are. The longest one is the first hidden blade, which was Ezio's blade in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. It was the least styled of all of them, but it was the most fitted, and you could wear it on its own. And it is actually the longest. Then we've got Assassin's Creed Unity's, which is actually the shortest blade. It's actually the shortest one out of all of them, but because this was mounted all the way up right under your wrist, it actually does prove to be longer than this one. Second, the floppy blade of Assassin's Creed 4. That one was another one which was mounted right underneath the wrist. So actually, if I move these so they are a slight bit more in the case of where they would be on the wrist, we would have this one slightly like here. This one would actually be all the way down here. Sit, there we are. And these two would be like this. So now, hopefully you can see this. This and this are the same length now. Assassin's Creed 4's was a slight bit longer, but this one is here on Assassin's Creed 4, about here on Unity's, and about here on Assassin's Creed Brotherhood's hidden blade. So actually, this is the shortest hidden blade we've had so far. May not be literally the shortest blade we've had, since it's got a sheath which extends it, but from where this is located actually on the wrist, which is about halfway down, this actually doesn't clear the fingertips. So, I hope everyone found that bit interesting. But, yeah. I'm going to try and put it back on my wrist now, so you can see some of the styling things I found with it. Okay, and back again. Now, there was something about the hidden blade I forgot to mention previously, and that is one of the things I find which wrecks the entire design the most. Maybe not everyone will agree, but it's this. That is the spring. There's a gap here where the spring can be seen. Now, I'm hoping that on this screen you'll be able to see it. Maybe I need to shine a torch into it, but that is the spring. And, well, what they've done is the sleeve, which hides the blade here, takes up the space in this gap. So when the blade is closed, you get to see the sheath through this gap. But when it's extended, it has this gap right here, which will show the spring to the actual hidden blade. Now, some of the other things is they've put these like little nubs here, which are probably supposed to be rivets on the original blade. But I think they could have just done with having a complete set bit of plastic in here with these designs on, and maybe not having them on the actual sheath. Maybe this line would be good to have on the sheath, but not the moving part. So this would move behind the set piece of plastic and would keep the whole look kind of uniform. Not everyone will agree, probably. Some people might even tell me I'm wrong, but that is my opinion. I would have preferred to have no gap here and not have this bit moving, rather than this. That's my only largest criticism. But onto the main looks of the whole thing is, actually I guess I should put the dart on just to complete the look. Okay, there we are. Now, the whole look of this thing, brilliant. The styling is really good, and I am slightly questioning this bit here. Is this leather or is this metal? Because it's scarred like leather when you get down here. But it could be metal. It could be a metal plate. I don't know. The knuckles, pretty good. They do stop your hand going back, so you can't do what you did with the Ezio blade, move your hand out of the way, or any of the other hidden blades now that I think about it, especially with the Unity one. That didn't cover your back of your hand at all. But yeah, you can't move your hand out of the way, so you have to close your hand in a fist when the blade comes out. And luckily there's quite a bit of clearance, so it has no harm of hitting your hand at all. Now, unfortunately, this dart, it doesn't actually shoot out. It's just a very good looking set piece. So it looks good on the side, but it doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't have like a little cord and come out. Even though the head does come off, it's only for ease of putting this thing on, I think. But anyway, the entire styling of this thing, the metal and the leather, it's really good. The paintwork is fantastic. Does actually look, and because of the plastic they've used, they have managed to mould these like lattice work in very well. The straps, the only criticism I would take with the actual look is those buckles for these belts. It's plastic, and you can obviously tell they're plastic when you look at them because they just don't have the metal shine or the actual texture to actually a real piece of metal. But anyway, yeah, looks great. Just wish it was a little bit more practical in its fit, and it continued this look all over, which is something the Assassin's Creed Hidden Blades have actually started doing. The first one, very functional, very rigid, and actually quite powerful, actually. The spring on this is actually quite strong. This is not. This is actually quite easy. I can push this down with one finger without any pain. If I try that on this one, that is actually digging into my fingers quite a lot. And when I actually got to the bottom, you'll actually see the blades bending a bit here. I can't actually push that down to lock it, as this one, well, I can't really push down far enough, but pretty much one finger can actually, you can push that down. It's not that painful to do so. This one was a lot harder. Assassin's Creed 4's, well, the blade was so floppy, but the point was actually a bit hard, and actually the spring was actually quite strong. It was quite strong. As you can probably hear, maybe from all of them. Then when it came to Assassin's Creed Unity's, the Phantom Blade, this was actually when I thought they didn't actually use an actual spring, but they did. It sounded like just a little, well actually maybe when I say spring I mean, it didn't sound like they used a coil spring, they used like a little spiral spring, like you would find in a watch, and it was just connected to a gear. Because this seemed to come out very uniform. It came out as a certain speed and sort of did this little bounce when it came to the end. But this was pretty weak. It doesn't actually hurt me to do that. As if I did that to this one, it would actually give me a blood blister. It was that powerful. And I think this one's the same. The spring is strong enough to get it out, but isn't strong enough really to cause any harm if you shove this into something. Which is pretty good if you actually want to roleplay stabbing someone in the neck with this. Probably not the best idea to do so, but if you wanted to, this would actually hurt a lot more than that. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the Hidden Blade. If I've missed anything, I'll just pop it in behind this little clip here. So, thank you very much for listening or watching. Like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.